Three alien sisters were born unable to bear children, buried beneath a mountain of snow until a wandering human uncovered them. The storm was harsher than anything Daniel had ever endured in the Arctic wild. He had come north seeking quiet, healing, and maybe the solution to questions that had haunted him for years. But as the wind shrieked and snow battered his coat, survival became the only thing that mattered. Each step was a struggle against drifts eager to consume him whole. Then, through the endless white, he heard it. At first, faint, too soft for the scream of wind, too delicate for the crack of shifting ice. A cry, high and fragile, alive. Daniel froze. The sound came again, muffled, as if buried below the earth itself. Driven by instinct, he dropped to his knees, tearing at the snow with frozen hands. His fingers struck something solid, not ice but metal. A rounded shell, half buried. Its surface was marked with glowing lines that seemed alive even in the storm's rage. He forced it open. A dim light glimmered within, warmer than the biting cold outside. Inside, three figures curled together like children in a nest. They were not human. Their skin gleamed pale silver, faintly luminous. Their long hair shimmered like spun glass, glowing faintly blue at the ends. Their eyes fluttered open as he stared, wide pools of violet heavy with fear and yearning. "Please," one whispered in halting English, her voice frail like a bird's wing. "Do not leave us." Daniel's chest tightened. They were alive. He lifted the smallest first, her frame trembling with weakness, then the others. They clung to him with fragile arms as he carried them toward his cabin a mile away. The storm roared, but he pressed on. Something in their desperate gaze had struck deep within his soul. Inside, they huddled close to the fire, wrapped in every blanket Daniel owned. Their bodies seemed to drink heat differently, glowing brighter with each passing moment. "I am Lyra," said the eldest, her tone fragile yet firm. She motioned to the others. "These are my sisters, Celine and Nara. We are the last." Daniel leaned in. "The last of what?" "Our people," Lyra said. Her violet eyes glistened with sorrow. "We were born barren, doomed from birth. Our race could not continue. They entombed us beneath the snow to protect us from enemies, hoping someone might someday discover us." Her words sank into Daniel like lead. Born unable to continue their line, entombed not out of cruelty, but despair. He studied them, frail, luminous, alien, and felt a pang he could not name. "You would have died out there," Daniel whispered. "Yes," Celine replied, her voice fragile, trembling like cracked ice. "But we dreamed. We dreamed of being found. And you came." The cabin grew quiet, save the fire's crackle and the storm's fists against the walls. Daniel realized his breath was unsteady, his chest heavy with something beyond pity. Days passed. The sisters gained strength under his care. They wandered the cabin with childlike wonder, touching lanterns, books, and tools as if they were relics. They laughed softly at his clumsy cooking, though they seemed nourished more by warmth and light than food. Daniel spoke more than he had in years about Earth, about the pain that had driven him here, about the silence he once believed he craved. Nara, the youngest, would listen wide-eyed. "Your emptiness is like ours," she said one night, her voice trembling yet clear. "Different but the same. You carry a hollow space too." Her words cut deep. He had lost his family long ago, hiding himself in solitude to escape the grief, and now three sisters born empty of future had somehow filled his cabin and his heart with life. But peace was brief. One morning, the horizon lit with unnatural glow. Daniel rushed outside to see a sleek silver ship descending, slicing through the storm with ease. His gut twisted. Whoever they were, they hadn't come for him. The sisters joined him, their faces pale with dread. "They have found us," Lyra whispered. The ship touched down with a hiss, figures emerging tall and armored, masks hiding their faces, weapons gleaming in hand. Daniel stepped forward instinctively, shielding the sisters. "What do you want?" he demanded. The leader's voice was cold, mechanical. "Those three are not meant to live." Their kind decreed their line must end. Step aside, human. Daniel's hands tightened into fists. For a moment, surrender tempted him. But then Celine's hand clutched his arm, and Nara's whisper broke through the storm. Don't let them take us. Something within him hardened. No, Daniel said. His voice firm, his stance unmoving. You buried them alive. I dug them free. They're mine now. Even he was startled by his words, yet they rang true. Weapons lifted. The storm screamed louder, as if nature itself opposed them. Daniel braced for the fight, ready even for death. But Lyra stepped forward, her violet gaze aflame. Her sisters joined her, their bodies shining brighter as if fed by the blizzard itself. Light erupted from their hands, blinding, searing. The armored intruders faltered, then broke, fleeing back to their ship beneath the radiant assault. The vessel rose and vanished into the storm-thickened sky. Silence returned. Daniel turned to the sisters, breath ragged. What was that? Lyra's glow dimmed, sorrow flickering in her gaze. A gift of our people, she said softly. A power never meant to be used. But for you, we would ignite the stars. That night the storm faded. The sky opened, jeweled with countless stars. The sisters leaned against Daniel by the fire, their heads light on his shoulders. For the first time in years, his cabin no longer felt like a grave. You saved us, Celine murmured sleepily. Daniel shook his head. No, you saved me. Lyra's lips curved faintly. Then perhaps we saved each other. The fire cracked. Snow drifted outside, no longer a threat but a soft blanket of peace. For Daniel, and for the sisters once buried without hope, a new beginning had surfaced. One not bound by bloodlines or fertility, but by choice, by love, and by the rare miracle of being found. The nights stretched long, yet none wished to sleep. Daniel sat with them by the hearth, their faint glow painting colors across the walls. His exile no longer felt like punishment, but like sanctuary renewed. For years he had believed silence was his only companion, that loneliness was safer than the ache of loss. Yet here were three beings sentenced to silence forever, entombed in snow with no tomorrow. And they had chosen life, chosen to rise, chosen to claim the present. He studied their faces, Lyra's steady fire, Celine's fragile gentleness, Nara's innocent wonder, and realized the truth. They had returned to him what he thought the world had stolen. Outside, the storm was gone. The sky burned bright with stars, sharp and endless, close enough to touch.